Welcome to the Kick Sugar Coach podcast. Join me each week as I interview experts who will share the science of sugar, sugar addiction, and different approaches to recovery. We hope to empower you with the information and inspiration, insights, and strategies you need to break up with sugar and fall in love with healthy whole foods so you can prevent and reverse chronic disease, lose weight, boost your mood and energy. Feel free to go to my website for details on my coaching programs and to access free resources, kicksugarcoach.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a podcast interview. I'm here today with Mugs Haugen. Is that how you say it?
Haugen.
Haugen. Is that Dutch?
It's a Norwegian.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Mugs was a nurse in the nursing profession for 23 years. And as she was sort of wrapping up that phase of her career, she knew she wanted to stay in a position where she could serve other people. So she actually became certified as a life mastery consultant. And she worked with the Brave Thinking Institute, with whose name I'm going to forget.
Mary Morrissey.
Mary Morrissey. And amazing. And she now supports nurses and other healthcare providers with designing and building a more balanced and joyful life. But she's also a sugar-free woman, sugar flour-free woman. She is one of us. She has walked the journey, the path, and she's here to tell us what life is like on the other side. Welcome, Mugs.
Thank you so much, Florence. I'm so happy to be here.
How did you get started? What was the motivation or your impetus to break up with sugar?
Well, that's a good question. I'll go back to, it was 2017. And my oldest son was getting married. And I was so excited, my oldest son, my first son to get married. And I was so happy for them. But I was feeling really down about myself. I felt like shit in my body. I was working as a nurse in an emergency department, working long shifts, and was very stressed out, burnout. And I went to find that perfect mother of the groom dress, right? And I'll never forget, I was down at the dress barn in Pismo Beach trying on dresses. And I couldn't get the zipper up on a dress and nothing was working. And I just couldn't believe that I was going to have to go back out and go another size up, right? And it was devastating. I just sat there in the dressing room on the little stool in there, and I just burst into tears crying. And I thought, wow, you've really got to get it together. This is not where I want to be. So that was kind of how it started for me. I knew that I had to start taking care of myself for a change, because as a caregiver, we're so used to putting everybody else first that I think we lose sight of our own desires and our own needs. And that's how I was feeling, like, wow, I'm so overwhelmed, stressed, and burnt out that I don't even know who or what I am anymore, right? So then I found a program online that was a really good fit for me. And I'll be honest with you, when I first started it, never in a million years did I think I would still be here with, where I am today. And this month, I have been on my maintenance plan for 5 years. So I have been living in a body that feels good and energetic and vibrant for over 5 years now. And to me, that is the biggest miracle, because let me tell you, I had done every Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, keto, you name it, I'd done it, and unsuccessfully, I might add. So to find something, and when I started it, I just thought, and especially, like, I don't drink anymore because that's part of our no sugar thing. And a lot of people, they kind of get the no sugar thing, but when you tell them you're not drinking alcohol anymore, the eyes roll back in their heads and they're like, are you kidding me? Because I was kind of a wino, I belonged to the wine clubs. I was kind of a wine snob, but I let all of that go. And I made a choice to stick with it because I felt so good, that I wanted to continue this journey and see where it took me, because every day it was like, wow, number one, this is working, right? And number two, I felt fantastic. And I hadn't felt that good since I was in my 20s and 30s, And I won't tell you how old I am now, but that being said, I feel fantastic. So I'm just so thankful to be here and share my story with you and your listeners.
Oh, amazing. And it really is incredible to hear how burnt out you were, how overwhelmed, how at bottom, and to see you so vibrant. It's obvious this is genuine. You can see the joy, you can feel the energy in you. And how many of us are like, I'll never turn this around. So it's so awesome that you can be here to tell us you can do this too. Let's go back to the early days though. It's not pretty. It's not I don't know what your experience was. For most of us, we're tired, we're irritable, we're overwhelmed just from trying to wrap our heads around it all. So what were the early, let's say the first 3 months or so like for you?
I actually had a pretty good transition to it, honestly. Like I said, I felt so good that I just wanted to keep going. But I think for me, a lot of it was a physical thing at first, like just letting go of the inflammation in my body and, not having the knee pain and the joint pain that I was having from being on my feet for long hours a day. So that really felt good. And then as I progressed in my program of not eating the sugar and flour, I I it opened so many other areas, not just physical, but emotionally and spiritually that have really been the root of my transformation.
Right, putting down the sugars, just the beginning of the journey. And it's so damn hard to do until you do it. And then it's like, oh, this is as easy as breathing. Nah, the next step is the hard part. Then you get through that and you think, oh, that was okay too. What are some of the benefits that you've experienced by giving up sugar, flour, alcohol, sweeteners, all those junky carbs?
Well, first of all, I love my food. Everything tastes better. It's amazing to me. And I actually eat quite a bit of food, like I have a huge salad bowl that I have, that I, you know, dump my salad in. I do like jar salad, so I'm prepared, and I have a whole food prep thing. That's a whole other thing, but it's wonderful, and I enjoy my food. So I think that's a big part of it too for me. But yeah, so I guess not having the physical aspects and then the emotional and spiritual aspects. Like I didn't have those routines in my life that really have now anchored me in my program. So I have a food diary. I drink a lot of water. I meditate and do yoga daily. I exercise on a regular basis. All those things that I wasn't prioritizing for myself before. And then when I realized when I do prioritize for myself, it actually loosens up all this other time and space in my head. It's amazing. I don't even know if I can put it into words, but it's transforming, like I said.
Mm-hmm. And what what was your experience with relapse? Did you just get a meal plan? Oh, no sugar, no flour, whole foods, or did you struggle a little bit? What did that look like?
Um, that has honestly been pretty good for me too. I was not a binge eater. I was not. I know a lot of people struggle with other disorders and that kind of thing, but that was not what I was. I was just more like an unhealthy eater. And I feel like I just didn't really struggle, especially in the beginning. As I've gotten into maintenance, it's been a little more like doing a little bit more research. And it's for me, it's more the snacky thing. So I have learned like what I can't have, like salted nuts, no way. Even though there's no sugar in it, but boy, that can lead me down a not so pretty path. So for me, it's been more small things. It's not like I don't feel like I've actually gone into a binge and a ditch or anything like that and had to totally come back out of that. I've been able to pretty much maintain. Honestly, I've been in my goal range now for 5 years, and I have a range. So I'm not perfect. I go up and down in that range, but I have a 5 pound range. So sometimes I'm at the top of that range, and sometimes I'm in the lower end of that range. So, but that feels really good too, because that's what it's all about. We are going to change. Our water weight changes, our hormones change, all those things. And not to beat yourself up over that. Oh, my weight's up a little bit. It's just information, right? So I'm not going to, flagellate myself because I'm up a pound. No, 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 no. I self-care, self-love, and just go, okay, well, where can I maybe tighten it in a little bit and go from there, and stay off the nuts and that kind of thing. So to me, honestly, I feel very blessed because I haven't had that kind of in the ditch kind of a
that
program.
intense on again, off again. Before coming into a program that invited you to get off all sugar and flour, sweeteners, and alcohol, what was the longest you'd ever gone without eating any of those processed carbs?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't know if I'd ever really truly done it. I think I did the keto at one point, and it worked, but not for long term, right? And I also didn't like the whole increase the protein and all that. It just wasn't real healthful. And I did some research and study on that, and I discovered that that wasn't for me at all. So yeah, so no, I never have really been true to anything until this. Yeah.
Wow, and you were ready, and someone passed you a meal plan, and you're like, okay, I'll do it. So in terms of your weight loss, I know it's not about weight loss. It really is about freedom and peace with food. But you seem to have suggested that you're currently in your goal weight and have been around 5 years. Did you have weight loss as a part of your success?
Oh, I lost over 60 pounds. And probably if I wanted to go from my highest weight, it was probably more like 80 pounds.
Right.
So, yeah. So, yeah, definitely. It definitely came off. And for me, it came off fairly. I lost 60 pounds in 8 months.
Wow, nice.
So within a year, I was at my goal range and super, super happy with that. And like I said, speaking to a lifestyle change, right, and an identity change is what is so key, because it wasn't like, oh, I'm here, I've arrived, it was like, no, 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 no. This is something that I want to continue because I want to continue to feel this good.
And did you have any panic or feelings or as you approached your goal weight? Like, did you have some? What was that like for you?
A little bit, and it was interesting because I'll never forget. Early on, I was like, I want to get in an 8 and stay in an 8, as in a size, pant size, or whatever. And I remember getting to an 8 and thinking, wow, I don't think I'm done yet. And so I just kept going. And honestly, I wear a 4 or a 6 now, depending on the sizing. But size 4 is usually what I wear, and that's how it's been now for 5 years. So it's just mind-boggling to me. So I actually lowered my goal range when I got close to maintenance. It's like, well, I don't think I'm quite there. I'm going to go a little bit further. So I did that with ease, honestly. So, I just kind of stayed with the course, and it went very, very well for me.
I'd say that's really common, that people kind of have an idea of a goal weight, and then when they get there, they're like, it's not like I want to lose my weight. It's just that I sense that there is more that my body wants to release, and I'm not done. I haven't found my right size yet. And how did you know when you reached your right size? Did your body just kind of start to plateau and that was it?
Yes, I think my food was good. I felt good with the amount of food that I was having. And I tweaked it a little bit here and there. And then I just finally, in my range, and I don't mind telling you, is 130 to 135. And I'm 5'4.5". So, I'm in a good zone, if you want to do your BMI or whatever you want to base that on, I feel really good. And also, just medically speaking too, I can tell you that, all of my lab work and stuff from where I was to where I am now, like my cholesterol and my triglycerides and all those things have come down. I was never really pre-diabetic, but I was getting there, right? I was headed there for sure. So to see those numbers like drastically come down was like, wow, it was just amazing. And my doctor was just like, wow, that's incredible. And so, those were also things that kept me motivated to continue this lifestyle for sure.
Yes, yes. Tell us a little bit about your daily self-care, and maybe include what you eat. And do you weigh and measure all your food? Yes.
Yes. Not always. Sometimes I do the one plate rule, and I sometimes, when I go out to eat, I'm not carrying around my scale. During the early days, though, I did do that. So, and then now I just have a real good eye, to eyeball, etc. And a lot of times I'll order something and I'll get a to-go box right away. And my husband laughs. It's like, are you kidding me? You can't even wait till later. I go, no, I want it now. So I get my to-go box and I put half of my meal, or if it's protein, I'll cut it to where my portion is correct. And I'll put the other half in a to-go box like right away so that it's not on my plate. And that's a really good key. And that has helped me a lot. But yes, I do have bound quantities. I do weigh and measure my food. I prep a lot. I weigh and measure my grains for the morning, my yogurts, etc. And I do all that. But I'm pretty organized, and I feel like in the long run, it really saves me a lot of time. And like you said, a lot of peace about what I'm going to be eating the next day or the next week. Honestly, I do kind of a weekly plan.
Wow, you're a superstar. Wow. You must have been an awesome nurse to be that organized.
Yeah.
Let's turn to the topic of self-care, because that's really an area where that's your expertise now. It's not really the sugar-free thing. That is like just between, women and men who are on that path. But your thing is really to help us put ourselves first, to stop burning out and overgiving. And so let's talk about that. What would you like to say about that? And how does it tie in with helping you to stay on your new lifestyle, your sugar-free lifestyle?
I think, to me, self-care, self-love, and self-acceptance are so important to keep me on this path. I think prioritizing my needs, like I said, not used to doing that, right? So I've had to learn, like I set my alarm a half hour earlier in the morning so that I can get up and do my meditations and my yoga. And that works really well for me because it's still dark out and, my husband's still in bed and I'm not really interrupting anything in his time frame. So I think, figuring out what works best for you and creating those routines that can give you a little bit of stillness and time for yourself is so important. Now, for you, it may be in the evening. Maybe that's the best time for you. But I think it's so important to, take that time for yourself to work on routines and behaviors that can really anchor you with more balance and joy in your life. And that's not just about the food, right? So sleep is another priority of mine. So my food is squared away great, right? I exercise and I hydrate well, but sleep, that's another key to energizing your body, re-nourishing yourself, right? And our cells replenish as we sleep. So, getting that 8 to 9 hours a night, how many nurses and healthcare workers get that? Nope. We brag about getting, being able to survive on 4 to 5 hours. Not good for our bodies, right? And not really good for those we serve either. That's what I feel. I feel like, if we want to help others, it's really important to be our best selves too. And all of these tools can really put you on that track. And it's not as hard as people think. I think people think, oh, I don't have the time, or I can't do that. There's not enough time in the day. Well, like I said, it's all about your priorities and making that time and prioritizing your own self-care is so important. And it really will free you to do the things that you really want to do. I know because I've done it. So,
Yeah, and did you start to do more self-care, really prioritize it before you retired?
well, and honestly, I'm still working, but part-time nursing now.
Oh, you
So I'm
are.
coaching full-time, which is fabulous. I'm coaching full-time and nursing per diem. So I'm still in it. So I'm still working with
Okay.
all my people, so who I love. And
Mhm.
that's why I'm serving those people because I know the need. But so yes, I definitely was doing all this while working a 9 to 5, 40-hour a week. Absolutely.
Got
Matter
it.
of fact, I would actually go into my building a half an hour early before anybody was there. And I would go and do my meditation and yoga practice down in a basement area because they had yoga mats down there, etc. So anyway, I was very blessed because I had that space. So I would literally get to work a half hour before everybody else and do that before I would go into my work day. And it was fantastic. So yes, even when I was working a 40-hour work week, I was doing all of this stuff. Well,
Got it.
last
Got
5
it.
years.
Got okay. That's really, really good to know because I think you were working in the ER department. Is that correct? Like talk about high stress.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
yeah, that's the thing. I think, we just get into that daily grind sometimes, and I think it's really hard to stop and sit in that, to figure out what is really important to you. When you lay your head on the pillow, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want people to, remember about you? You know? I think that's really important to get a clear idea of, what you want in your whole life, right? So
Hmm.
that's what I help people with.
Amazing. And what ooh, my question just went out of my head. Something about self-care. Oh, I know. What did your colleagues think of your transformation and getting there half hour early to meditate and ditching weight, not eating sugar? I mean, you're in the medical profession. Did they even know? Did you share it with them?
Oh, yes, I think it was quite noticeable because, like I said, it happened over 8 months. So it was a fairly quick transition, transformation. So, yes, I was getting a lot, and especially in the beginning. It's so funny because I have to tell you, it's like in the beginning, people notice, right? And then you're like, whoa, like the attention can be a little bit overwhelming and a little off-putting sometimes. But now it's like people are used to this now. So even like I showed up my husband a picture of me. He goes, wow. He goes, I don't remember you ever being that big. And I'm like, well, I was, and it's like they forget now that they're used to this. But I had some close friends that were like, oh my God, I still haven't gotten used to the new you. Like I still see you as something different. And it took them a long time to really get used to this and that I was continuing this lifestyle too. I think
Right.
a lot of them also expected what they'd seen in the past. Like, oh, she's a yo-yo dieter. Don't worry, she's gonna start drinking again and we'll get her back, thing. And I'm still a lot of fun, but it's like I think some of my close friends are like, "What do you mean you ain't drinking?" So
Yes, yes, yes. And did they get inspired? Like, has anyone decided to follow in your footsteps because of your transformation?
absolutely, yes. I do have a couple of friends that were like, "Wow, what are you doing? How can I do it?" And I have helped a few people in that health journey. And some have been very successful and some not so successful too, right? So it's not for everyone. And honestly, Florence, I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. And as a life coach, that's not how I do my life coaching business either. What I do is I inspire, support, but I'm not telling people what to do. It's up to them. They need to take responsibility. We all have self-determination. So I'm not out there preaching to people that, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, 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 no. You need to figure out what's going to work for you and design a life that you absolutely love. And it can be done, you know.
Hmm. What would you say to somebody who's looking to follow in your footsteps to truly make this a lifestyle, to reimagine themselves, to create a whole new identity around, I am a whole food woman. I don't eat processed foods. Like, what would you say?
Um, I think, first of all, I think it's not as scary as you would think. So give it a try, and see what works for you. Because I never dreamed that, like I said, I'd still be here, almost 6 years after starting this lifestyle. So I'm just so happy to be here. And so it's not as scary. And you may find a nice balance for yourself, you know. But to me, sugar is like crack. And I think I shared with you before that, in the ER, we had what we called the crack drawer, which was literally the candy drawer. And at the time, we all, thought that was kind of funny, right? But it's really not that funny because it is so close, molecularly what it does to your brain. It's so close to crack, So for many people, not everybody's like that. But for those of us that are, it's a real neurobiological thing that we have to deal with. So I think people think it's so scary and so hard, but especially if you do have an issue with sugar, I think, take a look at that. How's that making you feel about yourself? And how is that affecting your life on so many levels? I don't think people understand how it ripples, that ripple effect. And I'll go the opposite way. When you get off, the ripple effect that can have on others too is super powerful.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Let's go into your area of expertise around burnout. A lot of women are overgiving, overdoing, right? We're overwhelmed, and that obviously drives overeating. So how can we start to get a grip on that overwhelm and overdoing?
Well, I think, it's so ingrained in our society, in culture. As women, it's very difficult because it's something that, has been ingrained in us for so long. So, to really look at those things can be really hard and scary. And it's like, I don't really want to go there. I'd rather just keep staying busy and, stay busy and chaotic and overwhelmed, right? But I think as people become more self-aware, they realize that they have a choice. You can make a choice. You can choose differently than what you're doing now. So I would say, look at why you want to make a change. Where are you at your ground zero? Like I was like so burnout, overwhelmed, stressed, just like I said, felt like crap in my body, and I was just done. So maybe you're not to that point yet, but you want to figure it out, you want to try it. So I think, it can be really important to put yourself, prioritize yourself with your healthy eating, your healthy habits, and just make room for yourself every day and set boundaries, right? We are healthcare professionals, right? We give every day. We're not only, caring for patients all day, but some of us are even taking care of elderly parents at home or children or, grandparents, whatever it may be, so we're just constantly like giving and giving and giving. And I understand that it's not easy when you have all those kinds of responsibilities with other people to prioritize your own self-care. But like I said, again, it doesn't really take that much time. It's more about a mindset. It's about shifting where you're putting your your energy and your attention, right? So when you can step back a little bit and think, well, what would I love to be doing in my life? How would I like it to look? How can I balance the chaos of my family life and my work life balance, right? And that can be very challenging. But when we do start taking care of our own needs, it's amazing how we learn that other people, they're capable of taking care of themselves too. And, I'm a big codependent. I've always been, been there, done that. So I've always lived as a codependent person. And I think as a caregiver, that's what we get into that model of, oh, people can't do this because I'm the only one that can do it. People can't do it as well as me, so I need to do it myself. And to let go of some of those things is really hard, but life-changing.
Totally. Totally amazing. Is there any final words that you would like to share with our audience today? There's most people that listen to this will probably be struggling. They've been on again, in and out of the ditch. They've had stretches of success, and then their brain will say things like, "Well, you can abstain, and it's too hard to do abstinence, and it's too hard to sustain." And so, I don't know if you wanted to share some final words of wisdom.
Well, I think, it sounds hard, but like I said, when you give it a shot, it really isn't as hard as or scary as it looks. So I just welcome people to be opened, open your heart, open your mind, and see what a difference it could make in your life. Because I know the difference that it's made in my life. And with my Anchored Heart coaching business, that's the name of my coaching business. It was named in memory of my sister, my anchor, Kathy, who passed away from metastatic breast cancer. And so my Anchored Heart is, all about serving others and helping people get more self-aware so that they realize, yes, I have a choice. I can make a difference, right? In my own life and the lives of my family. So anyway, I'm on Anchored Heart Coaching on Facebook and Instagram if anybody wants to find me there. And if you are a nurse or a caregiver, I especially, ask that you contact me. I would love to see you. And I have a nurses self-care circle on my Facebook group. So if anybody's interested in that, you can always just contact me. Thank you.
Awesome. I want to put in a shameless plug as well, because she does offer a free masterclass called Beyond Self-Care and it's free. It's on a monthly basis, and it is for nurses, healthcare practitioners, people who are in that service. Like they have a helper's heart, but they just need to figure out how to balance what they're giving with giving to themselves.
Yes, and my next free Beyond Self-Care webinar is actually March 14th at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I would love anybody to join me. And I will get that link to you, my Eventbrite link to you if you would like, Florence. Thank you.
This won't air before, but that's okay, because you do it monthly.
Oh, good to know. Can you edit that out for me?
No, that's okay. No worries. That's okay. But the bottom line is it's monthly. So we can absolutely.
Yes. I will be doing one March, April, May, June. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Mugs, thank you so much for your time, your energy, your radiance, and for being an inspiration to us all. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Florence. It was my pleasure. Have a fabulous afternoon.
Thanks for tuning in this week. If you would like more interviews, more information, and more inspiration on how to break up with sugar, go to my YouTube channel, Kick Sugar Coach, or my website, kicksugarcoach.com. See you next week.